welcome back. It's Nikki of Nikki's Homemade Crafts, and today we're going to work on part 2 of the multi-stitch mystery crochet along. Oh, I'm so excited. We already have part 1 done. This is what we did in part 1. You learned how to do a square and mosaic crochet and a few little extra things, and of course tips and tricks throughout. So if you missed part 1, go back and watch part 1 and crochet part 1, so that way you're ready for part 2. So part 2 is also going to be super quick and it's really fun. You're going to learn 2 different stitches today. You could call them techniques as well, and I will guide you through them step by step. This project will also not take you too long, so part 2 goes very quickly, potentially even faster than part 1. We'll see. It all depends on you, but I'm really excited to get this one done as well. And then we have part 3 in the end. Woohoo! Okay, so let me guide you through a couple of things really quickly. So we have a giveaway happening while the mystery crochet along is going on. So there are 12 prizes to win, aka 12 winners at the end. They're going to be announced at the party, which is November 15th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. It is our biggest party for the year, so you better be there. You're going to miss out if you don't join us. Plus, I'm announcing the winners on that day as well. So the way to have a chance to win and to qualify for the giveaway would be these things right here. So first, you need to be signed up for free. There's a link down below. Tap there, go over to our website, and you should see either a pop-up or some kind of box where you add your information. Full name and email address is all that's needed, and then you're good to go. I will pull 3 winners from that section. The next section is watching all 3 videos in this multi-stitch mystery crochet along till the end and answering the questions at the very end. Okay, the next part, and again 3 winners per section, right? And the next part would be to actually finish the multi-stitch mystery crochet along. Now you can do adjustments as you wish, as long as it's finished in the end and looks a little bit similar to what I did, then you're good to go. And there shouldn't be yarn ends hanging off anywhere, and you use the hashtag to post your final images to the Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki with that hashtag by the deadline, which is November 15th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So that way you can be announced, hopefully, maybe as one of the winners by the big party. And the party is also another way to win. You just have to be there live. Join us live and you will see there's 3 questions going to be there right there live to answer. And once you answer them, you have a chance to win there too, because I will pull 3 random winners from that live party. So you can see it is really important for you to show up for the party, and it's also really fun. Yes, the replay will be available, but the party is better to be there live, because not only can you answer some questions and win something, but there's also other things that might be better if you're there live. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, so that is about the giveaway. Let's talk about the pattern, okay? There are 2 different ways on how you can get access to the pattern for the multi-stitch mystery crochet along. So the first way is the link down below in the description or in the comment section. It will take you over to a website. It is free to view the pattern. There might be a table of content that you can tap and expand and then jump directly to the pattern, but it will have ads. It is not printable, and it sometimes refreshes, and that's okay. That's how the ads work. Just ignore that. That's what I do when I go to other bloggers. I literally just ignore it, and it's all good. I have the free to view pattern. That's all that is needed, and then you can work through it. Now, if it absolutely bothers you and you want more community and more support and simply more fun and exclusive patterns, you might want to join the Crochet Club, because in our membership, the Crochet Club, you can join us as a monthly, quarterly, or annual member. You get access to over 600 ad-free, printer-friendly crochet patterns that includes exclusive patterns, lots and lots of videos, over 600 videos. On top of that, resources, exclusive patterns, as I said, that come directly from you, meaning you get to submit your ideas and you have a voice to pick your patterns. It's super duper fun to be part of the Crochet Club. We have a huge community. We have really supportive and positive community. You will be able to find your next crochet bestie there. Always motivation happening there, and it's simply the best place to be in terms of your crochet journey. So maybe think about if you want to join us. Plus, you don't have to worry about ads anymore. Anyways, that's where you can find the written pattern for parts 1, 2, and then eventually also part 3. But let's talk about part 2 for now, because that's what we're going to work on today. Let's go. So we have, of course, this yarn right here that we're using. I'm just using worsted yarn in red and white. So I'm using Premier's Just Yarn, and I'm using a 4mm hook. You can use other yarns too, as long as it's worsted yarn. It doesn't have to be acrylic, but I recommend acrylic. It's a little bit easier to work with for this specific pattern. Yeah, I think acrylic is better this way, but you can change it also to like wool or cotton or some kind of blend if you need to. We're going to use mostly red and white for the entire pattern. It's just a little tiny bit of beige/cream that we're going to use in part 3, as well as a tiny bit of black. There might be an additional color that you can choose if you wanted to. There might be a few additional things that you may need in part 3, but again, some of them are optional. Some of them you can substitute with things that you have at home if you absolutely don't want to buy anything. But there are many options. But for now, today only, you're going to use white and red, and that's it. Nothing else for part 2. So you're good to go. So let's get started. All right, we're going to get started with red, and we're going to start again with a magic ring. And as I said last time, a magic ring is a loosened up slip knot. So if you keep that in mind, you should be able to do just that. You're going to make a chain of 1. Just make sure that that ring finger or something is inside your magic ring. Do you see why I use the ring finger? It's not only beneficial, but it rhymes, right? It's the same word. Might as well. Anyways, you can use a different finger too. It just works for me. So after you have your chain of 1, you're going to add 6 single crochets to the ring. So 2, 6. We're going to do here continuous rounds. So that means we're going to use a stitch marker. I like to use my yarn end for that. You can totally use an actual stitch marker, but I already have it hanging there, so might as well use it. Okay, so we're going to go into the next round. So first we're going to make a circle, and then from the circle on, we're going to start with the next stitch, which is going to be the waistcoat stitch. I will show you how to do it. There's a way to substitute the stitches, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, so let's make our circle first. So in the next round, you're going to go into each stitch and you're going to crochet 2 single crochet stitches. So in every stitch, you're going to crochet 2 single crochet stitches, which means, doing the math, if you do 2 per stitch, you started out with 6. 2 times 6 is 12. So you should end up with 12 stitches at the end of this round. Once you've finished this round, which is what I'm doing right here, I'm going to go straight into the next round. So moving up my stitch marker, and I need to make sure that my hole is closed a little bit. There we go. And so I'm going up into the next round, and we're going to crochet 1 single crochet stitch and then 2 single crochet stitches in the following stitch. Then again, 1 and then 2 single crochet stitches. Now you're going to do this all the way around. You should end up with 18 stitches because you're adding 6 extra stitches in this round. In the next round, you're going to move up your stitch marker, and then you're going to crochet 1 single crochet in 2 stitches, so 1 per stitch, and then 2 single crochet stitches after that. Now you're going to repeat this. So 1, 1, and then 2 single crochet stitches, and you're going to do this all the way around, and then you're going to go into the next round. In the following round, you're going to crochet 1 single crochet in 3 stitches now, so 1 per stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and then the following one is going to be 2 single crochet stitches. So you can see how we're increasing by 1 per repeat. So you're going to repeat this now. So 1 single crochet in 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet stitches after that. And then you're going to repeat this till the end, and then we have 1 more round of increases. All right, last round of increases is going to be 1 single crochet in 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 single crochet stitches after that. Now you're going to repeat this all the way around, and then we go into the next round. All right, we're now going to go into the next round, so move up your stitch marker. So I highly recommend that you're loosening up your tension for that next round, and likely also for the rest of the rounds for this project, because otherwise you're going to have a really hard time. So some of you guys may have to go up in hook size if you can't loosen up your wrist and your tension. I'm going to show you a few different tricks that you can use in order to loosen it up, but I do recommend, if you absolutely can't, and in the next round, meaning after the one that we're now doing, if you have any trouble, then go back and redo the round that we're about to do, but with a bigger crochet hook, so that way it's looser. So then you go back down, okay? But let me show you. So very important, we're going to crochet single crochet stitches now, but we want them a little bit looser. We're going to crochet into the back loop only, so you're going to crochet literally just single crochet stitches, but you're going to make them looser, okay? So in order to make them looser is, first of all, in order to make them tight, you need to know how to do that, right? In order to make it looser. So tight would be you keep your hook as close as possible to your crochet project. That is how you make it tight. If you want to make it looser, you're going to remove your hook a little bit from your project, so that makes that loop, that second loop right there, the one that you pull just through, you want that one to be a little looser. That's the important one. This one up here, not important. That one, important. That is the one you want a little looser. So this is tight, this is looser, okay? So make it a little bit looser, okay? And make that happening through the entire round. Keep it loose. You're going to scream later if that's not what you're doing, okay? I promise you, you're going to have a hard time later if you don't, okay? So make it looser. Pull it up a little bit, like intentionally for this round. Make it looser. Pull it up. Like literally, I'm pulling it over to the right to keep that second loop from being too tight. I want it to be loose. And you're literally going all the way around, and you're going to crochet single crochet stitches into the back loop only. So sometimes I, also make my hook a little bit looser on my hand. See, I barely hold tight on it, and therefore I make sure that my stitches are loose. Like I'm barely holding tight, okay? And that's another way to make sure that your stitches are loose. You don't want to be super loose, but you want to loose enough that in the next round, your wrist is not going to hurt, because the waistcoat stitch is a bit tighter stitch. It provides stability and it makes it knit-like look. But if you have tight tension, you're going to have a hard time and you're going to get very frustrated. And that is not what you want in your crochet journey, okay? You want to be happy, inspired, and motivated. And that's what you want to do. So as long as you follow the guidelines, the tips that I'm providing you, you should have no problems. By the way, if you absolutely feel like you cannot do the waistcoat stitch, then just substitute with a regular single crochet stitches. That's fine. I do think you should at least try it. And I personally think there is no reason to give up. And here's the reason why. Because if you haven't accomplished it yet, you haven't reached the end yet. You haven't tried enough yet. And for some people that takes more time. For some people it goes faster, and it's okay. Every crochet journey is different. You are on your crochet journey, okay? Others are on their crochet journey. Don't compare yourself with others. You have a different story to tell than their story is in the end, okay? So if you take a little longer to learn, that's okay. There might be something else that they are having a harder time than you do. Everyone is different, okay? So anyway, so once you finish your round, which I just did by giving you some motivational boost here in between, we're going to go into the following round, and that's where we're actually going to start the waistcoat stitch. So I'm pushing up my stitch marker right here, and now you need to look at each individual stitch. Now that might be hard to see because it's red, so I'm going to try to make sure that you can see each stitch. In fact, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right, so I zoomed in a little bit so you can see the stitches a little bit better. So what you want to do is, first of all, you are not, for the waistcoat stitch, okay, you're not going to go underneath the top V. So this is where you would insert your hook if you would make a single crochet stitch right here, right? I mean, think about it. Look at your project. Where do you usually insert your hook? Right here. Now for the waistcoat stitch, you're not going underneath the top V, but So this is the top V, right? The front loop and the back loop, that's the top V. But what you're actually doing for the waistcoat stitch is you're going to go through this V, which is the front stitch. So I'm going to try to cover the rest of it so you can see it, right? So this is the top V. Underneath the top V is for single crochet stitches. And then this is the front V. You're going to go right through it. You're splitting the front V in half, okay? That's your single crochet stitch right there. So you are actually making a single crochet stitch just in a different location, and it's called the waistcoat stitch or the crochet knit stitch, and it creates a knit-like look, okay? So you're going to go through that front V, push it through, and this is the part that is the hardest. If this is tight, you can't easily push through. Okay, this is why that was so important to keep it loose. Once you push through, you pull up your loop like regular, still keep it loose. Otherwise, the next round's going to have trouble, right? You don't want to have trouble. You want to make it easy. So, and then you just pull it through. And there you have now the two V's, right, for each individual row on top of each other. Therefore, it looks knit-like, right? Because the V's are stacked in knitting. So here we're stacking the V's and therefore making it knit-like. So don't go underneath the top V, split the front V in half, and if it's loose enough, you have no problems going through. You can see how easily I was able to guide through with my hook and pull up my stitches. And then I'm just going to curl and make my waistcoat stitches all the way around. You see how pretty this looks? It looks so, so pretty. And so you're going to continue that with the red color. I know this is a little bit harder to see here. You're going to continue this until round 19, okay? So all the way onto 19, you're going to crochet, and this counts these rounds too, right? So all the way onto 19, you're going to crochet in red. Then you're going to switch to white, okay? You're going to crochet, and let me show you that on the actual project. Then you're going to crochet in white after your round 19. So this is round 19, then it's round 20, 1, 2, and then here in round 23 is where you do a slight change, okay? And you can see this right here. I'm going to try to hold it so you can see it. It's really easy, okay? So all you're doing is you're doing your waistcoat stitch, and then you're making a chain of 2, and you're skipping 2 stitches, okay? Then you're going to make another waistcoat stitch, chain of 2, skip 2. Do this all the way around, okay? When you then come back around, okay, in the following round, you're going to crochet again a waistcoat stitch on top of a waistcoat stitch, just like before. But then over here, you're going to do single crochet stitches because you can't reach any other stitch because those are the chains. You can go into the chains or into the chain space. I went into the chain space, but keep your stitches loose, even though those are single crochet stitches, right? And do this all the way around. And then we have one more round of just waistcoat stitches. So now that creates these little holes right here, okay? So obviously you can tell this is a cute little Santa bag, okay? But it does have these holes, and we need those because we're going to make a drawstring now, okay? So a drawstring will then allow us to close up our little Santa bag. We're not done yet though for part 2. We still have a couple of things to do. So let's do the drawstring first, and then you're going to do the last part, which is another stitch that you're going to learn, okay? So drawstring first though. All right, you're going to take your white yarn, okay, and you want to have a longer yarn end, okay? So how long? It kind of depends on your tension and how long you want your drawstring to be. So that may be a situation where you have to do a little bit of a try and error, okay? So, and by the way, you can also use a knitting tool, like to make a drawstring. That's fine too. I think it's a little bit thick for this one. So here I'm just going to crochet it, okay? Because I think it's a little thinner, but it goes also much quicker. So how long is my yarn end? I would say I'm going to make mine just in case about 4 to 5 feet, just in case. I'd rather cut it than having to redo it, right? So make my yarn end long because we're going to actually use it, okay? So then I'm going to make a slip knot, okay? And I'm going to pull here. And what you're going to do is once you have your slip knot, ooh, I think I made it the wrong way. Let's do that again. There we go. So once I have my slip knot ready, then I'm going to take my yarn end. This is my yarn end. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. So this is my yarn end, the one on the bottom, and then this is my running yarn. So let's call them what they are, okay? Running yarn comes from your skein, your ball, whatever it is, and then this is your yarn end, okay? So once you have your slip knot on your hook, you're going to wrap the yarn end around it front to back, and then take the running yarn and pull it through. Okay, let's repeat that. Yarn end, wrap around front to back, and then running yarn, pull through. Okay, yarn end, wrap around, pull through. So front to back, pull through, front to back, pull through, front to back, pull through. And you're going to do this until you have your drawstring, pretty much depending on how long you want it to be. Okay, so I'm going to make mine now, and I'm going to show you how far I went, and then we'll measure it in case you need a reference guide on how far I went, and then you can make your own. So hang tight, and I'm going to snap right to it. Let's do some magic. I used my entire 4 to 5 feet. I didn't measure, but whatever I used, I went literally until the end. So let's measure how long it actually is. So let's measure how long this actually is. So right here, gonna hold it. I'm trying not to stretch it too much so you can actually tell how long it is. It is roughly 18 inches. I don't know if you can see it, roughly 18 inches. Okay, that's how far I went. And so now all you got to do is pull this through. So start wherever you like. I like to start wherever there is no yarn transition happening. So right here is where my yarn color transition was. So I usually go on the opposite side, and that's where I start. Okay, because that way that's not too visible, because wherever my yarn end comes out, that is where it's going to be tied up, and that's usually the front. Okay, so now I'm just going to push this through literally from one little loop to the next, pull that through, and it should be just enough in length. And if you want it to be longer, you can. So mine is about 18 inches, as I said. So now you can adjust it to make sure that the front is about even. So there we go. And then when you're ready to close it, just pull, make a little, bow tie or something. Tie it up just like you would for your shoes. I'll just do that real quick so that way it stays in place, and then we're good. And we have our little pouch, our little Santa bag, and it has a drawstring. Now we have to do one more thing though, but you won't know what it's for. You have to do 12 little things. Let's call them tiles for now, okay? 12 little pieces. So let me show you. They're gonna look like this, okay? So you're going to use linked crochet for that in order to make it nice and smooth, and there's barely any gaps. Okay, that's what you're going to do. It's actually a combination of single crochet stitches and linked crochet stitches, but I'm going to show you how to do this. So this is a tile. So let's just call them what it is for now. You're going to see later what they're actually for. It's 12 of them. Okay, so let me do this together with you, and it's going to be in white. All 12 of them are going to be in white. All right, you're going to make a chain of 6, and then you start from the second chain from the hook, okay? But you're also going to use the third chain from the hook. We're going to start with linked double crochet stitches. We're going to do one row. It is not many stitches. I know you can do this, okay? So we're going to start from the second chain from the hook. I like to go in a back bump, but you do you, okay? Yarn over and pull through. This is going to be your yarn over for the double crochet stitch, but we're linking it. So we linked it to the second chain, okay? Now we're going to go into the third chain, yarn over, pull through, and now we're going to actually start our double crochet stitch. So as you can see, it has the exact amount of loops that you need for a double crochet stitch, but they're linked to our foundation chain right here, okay? So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you made it like a double, but it is linked, okay? Ignore that foundation chain right there. So you're now going to look at your linked double crochet stitch, and that's what you just made, right? And you're going to see that horizontal bar here in the center, this one right here that I'm flicking right there, okay? I'm going to try to see if I can point to it. So this guy right here. So if you're looking at it from this perspective, it is a horizontal bar. If you're looking at it from this bar, from this side, it's going to be a vertical bar, right? Either way, but it's going to be that center one. You're going to go through that, and then you're going to make a yarn over and pull through. That is your yarn over for the double crochet stitch. Go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You made your second linked double crochet stitch. Now we have to do 2 more. Okay, so again, you have a new horizontal bar, so you're not going into the original one, you're going into the one that you just created with the last stitch. So go in there, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and you have 3 loops. Finish it up like a double crochet stitch. We have 1 more to go. Okay, go through the horizontal bar that was just created, pull through, and go into the last stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then finish it up like a double crochet stitch. So you just made 1 row of linked crochet stitches. This specific ones is linked double crochet stitches. So you actually have 4 of them, and the first one is linked to that foundation chain right there. Okay, so you're now going to crochet around the entire project. Okay, you try to do it as even as possible, especially here on the edges. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're here by the edges. I usually just do 1 stitch right here. So I'm going into this edge right here, going to crochet 1 stitch. Into the corners, you're going to crochet whatever you consider corner. This is a corner, this, and this. So there's like 4 corners, right? You're going to crochet 2 double crochet stitches into each corner. Okay, and then you have regular stitches here in between. You're going to do 1 single crochet stitch per stitch. Okay, and then you have over here again a corner. That's going to be where that foundation chain is. That's going to be a corner. You should end up roughly with 14 stitches all the way around. Okay, then over here's another stitch right here on that edge, and then again another corner. So there's 2 single crochet stitches there, and then over here we have a few stitches left on top of that linked double crochet stitch until you get to the end, and we have 1 more corner here to go because we didn't start with a corner. And then you just make a slip stitch. I'm just going to do a regular one right now, and then you just weave in your ends and you're done with your tile. Okay, you're going to make 12 of these tiles, and make sure you weave in your ends at the end. When you're done, I know this is a little bit brighter here, let me see if I can make it a hint darker for y'all. So you have all your tiles. So as I said, that's what I'm going to call them for now, tiles. It should be 12 of them in total. So here there's 6, and here's a few more. You can block them a little bit so that they are more flatter. That probably is going to be more beneficial for you in the end, and it's going to look a little bit prettier. So block them a little bit if need be, or just like bend them so that they're all straight. But there should be 12 of them, as you can see right here. There's all my 12. Okay, so once you're done, that's it. That is part 2. Okay, not only did you learn 2 different stitches, you also learned another technique, which is how to make an I-cord. So you have linked crochet stitches here for the tiles, and then you have the waistcoat stitch that you learned. You also learned how to do continuous rounds for circles, and we also did the I-cord. So that is for part 2. Now you have this for part 1 and this for part 2. Okay, so finish all of that up and be sure to take a picture of both parts 1 and 2 together, and feel free to put these tiles inside here, you know, when you're done, to kind of like at least have them that they're not disappearing on you, you know, a little storage container. Put them in there for now. We're going to finish them up in part 3. Okay, so this is part 1 and 2. Take a picture of it, post it into the Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki with the hashtag you see here on this screen. Okay, and then all you have to do is type some text in there and you're good to go. And that is what you need to do. Okay, but you also need to answer a question for part 2. Okay, so first we're gonna do this. So this is your question. It's kind of a 2-in-1er, just like we did in part 1. So the question is, first, name all the stitches / techniques that you have learned so far. Okay, tell me all of them. So for part 1 and 2, what did you learn? Tell me all of them. There should be 2, at least 2, maybe 3 if you want to consider that. Potentially some tips and stuff, right? There should be at least 2 for part 1, and there should be at least 3 for part 2. So name them all and then tell me which one is your favorite. Or if you feel free to say, this is the one that finally learned how to do, or something in that range. You know, something that is like a wow for you. It's like, oh my gosh, finally I know how to do this. Either that or your absolute favorite of all of them. them. Either way is fine, but that is your question for part 2. Please answer that in the comments down below so that way you qualify for the giveaway. Remember, you need to watch all 3 videos and answer the questions at the end. We have one more part to go, which is part 3. And that's coming out in a couple of days. That is going to be the longest one, but it's still fairly short, okay? It's just the longest. I think it's also going to be the longest video because I'm going to try to be as detailed as possible, but it shouldn't take you that long either, okay? So parts 1 and 2, you can see it's fairly quickly done. Doesn't take you that long. Part 3 is just a hint longer, and then pretty much just the assembly part of it, like finishing it all up, putting the whole thing together. What actually is it, right? That's going to be the next thing. In fact, I would love for you to talk in the Facebook group, like start a post or even post it into when you're posting your picture and ask, what do you guys all think we're making? Like, I would love to know. I should have asked that as a question, but I would love for you guys to have just a communication about it. What do you think we're making? Because there's still a big part missing. There's actually a big mystery still missing. Not just part 3, but what is actually happening here? What are you making? So I would love to know if you have like some going back and forth in the group and chat about what do you think we're making in the multi-stitch mystery crochet along. And obviously the reveal is going to be part 3. And then a big party this Saturday, November 15th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. I am so excited. It's the biggest party of the year, so I sure hope you're going to be there. All right, I'll see you guys then, right? So don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the bell to get a notification next time I publish a video or go live. I'll see you in part 3. Happy hooking. Bye!